Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So this one is actually Skaven versus Wood Elves. This could be a really tough one for both factions, to be honest. There's a lot of counterpicking and mind games, I think, tends to go on. At the moment, the meta is kind of bringing a load of storm vermin because, you know, that armor is just hard to breach, you know, with sort of war dancers or whatever. It's a bit rough. But I don't like the meta. The meta's boring, so I'm going to go with something completely different. So this is actually similar to the sort of builds that I often bring. But as you can see, I've gone with a Warp Lightning Cannon. I've got a Warlock Engineer and Skrulk. I've got a couple of Plague Monks, which I put sort of within my Clan Rats, because I'm hoping that a lot of the any Archer fire will hit the Clan Rats instead of the Plague Monks, because they are a really easy target. So the Rat Ogres are going to be useful just to get around quickly. Also, they're very good for bullying sort of heroes, which I quite like. They've got good armor piercing, so they'll help against trees and things like that. The Warp Lightning Cannon, again, it's in case he brings a lot of trees. If he has Durthu, I can focus him down. If he has a lot of Treekin in the front line, which are actually pretty good against Skaven. They've got magic attacks, so they can sort of negate a lot of the physical resist that Skaven units have got, which is nice. And they're also incredibly resilient. So the Warp Lightning Cannon's very good for that. You know, magic attack, so it negates the physical resist. It's just useful. Also got some Clan Rat Spears on the edges, just to help screen cavalry. Also got some Skaven Slaves just to throw at stuff and waste ammo, basically. So that's always a good shout. Stormvern with halberds in the back, basically to protect the Warp Lightning Cannon. These guys will be able to fight off, you know, most cavalry pretty happily. So they're definitely worthwhile, and as long as I play quite aggressively, I'll be able to keep them away from any archer fire, which will be good. Also over here, you can see I've got 2 units of Night Runners, and I've got some Gutter Runners with poison. So these guys are pretty useful. A lot of the sort of cavalry and things, you know, that are going to kind of catch them. They can't catch them very well. As long as you keep running away from them, they can actually get a lot of hits in, and they're pretty formidable in melee, actually, with the sort of, you know, 24 and 22. It's not to be sniffed at, but that range damage between all of them is really going to help against sort of unarmoured cavalry, which is pretty useful. And they're also very good at sort of counter-skirmishing, so you can charge them towards sort of, you know, Way Watchers or Deepwood Scouts, whatever. I tend to throw these guys into melee against them because they're nice and quick, and they'll throw shurikens as they run, so they're pretty fun. So anyway, my opponent here, I was worried he'd bring a lot of cav, and he brought a lot of cav. You see he's got Wild Riders there, Wild Riders, so 2 have shields, which is annoying. That missile resist is going to hurt. He's also got some Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards, so, you know, he wants that magic damage to negate all the physical resist. Also over here, Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards, and another Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. As you can tell, I'm practicing saying that word. So also over here, he's got a load of Dryads. Again, really good, cool. These guys, you know, they suck against armor, but Skaven aren't usually going to bring a lot of armor. If I want the Storm Vermin, these guys would do nothing. But as it stands, they're going to negate all that physical resist of mine. So it's a very good call. Also, you can see he's got some Eternal Guard of Shields just to help, you know, throw in against large stuff. Also over here and over here. And, you know, they've got shields, so, you know, it's gonna be annoying. They're going to be able to screen my skirmishers pretty well. He's also got a Spell Singer of Life, so he can heal stuff up. And also, they have Awakening the Wood, which, you know, doesn't do a huge amount of damage usually, but against Skaven, again, you don't have to worry about the physical resist, you just have to worry about that small amount of health and no armor. So, Awakening the Wood will actually do a fair bit of damage, which is kind of pretty cool, to be honest. Also, you see he's got Glade Lord, so let's zoom in on her. So you can see Glady on a horse, so she's going to be able to outrun anything I have. So, very scary. So let's speed things up and see how it goes. So immediately, I'm just charging my front line in. I'm not going to engage just yet, I just want to move forward and posture a bit while I get some damage in with the Warp Lightning Cannon. So I was going for him, now I'm going to go for the other Wild Riders. So I'm throwing Slaves in, brilliant, they're wasting ammo, perfect. I don't care if they're shooting at them, it is not a problem. So, and here, I am getting some free shots. I'm not doing a huge amount of damage, but I'm doing some. So, yeah, it helps, it helps. So, front line's engaging, and you see my Plague Monks have taken a bit of damage from the Swift Shiver Shards. Now, Slaves are getting in the way. Awakening the Wood is going to pop down here, and it is going to do a fair bit of damage to these guys. And it's a nice cheap spell, so, it's pretty good. But here, he's very clever. He uses this rock to stop me shooting at him with the Warp Lightning Cannon, so I have to switch targets. So I'm going to go for the Glade Lord, but Glade Lord's it's just going to keep running in circles, so I'm not going to get any hits for a while. And the cavalry, using the rock as, you know, a sort of a buffer, they then charge into the front line, and they will be able to mop up any of this infantry. So here, I throw Plague Monks, some of them behind, so I can get in the way of these Eternal Guards. They can't help in the back line. The Slaves are gone, so I throw the Clan Rats with spears into here. I'd been chasing the Wild Riders with my skirmishers. He knows that he can't take all these guys on with the one unit, so he starts to retreat. So I start getting some damage in the Deepwood, into the Deepwood Scouts. But here you can see his front line. You know, he wants to keep that holding, so he's going to send his Wild Riders into the back. Over on this side, you see the Glade Lord hasn't really been hit yet. He's just been running around in a big circle. My Clan Rat with spears and shields, they've been getting shot at. So this is where things are a bit iffy, because my Storm Vermin here, they can take a lot of damage. But he wants to deal with these Rat Ogres first. So that's actually pretty good for me, although I don't want my Rat Ogres taken out, and he's creeping up to me with Eternal Guard. So here, I send the Night Runners to chase down these Deepwood Scouts. They can do great in melee. And, you know, the Skaven Slaves will be back soon. Here, these are free Plague Monks, so I don't really mind. So the fact that these Wild Riders are sat here fighting Plague Monks and will just get free shots into the back of them is brilliant for me. So I've got some more Clan Rat summons here. They're going to charge in soon. But the front line is doing very well. So here he's had to throw an Eternal Guard. All the Dryads have been dealt with. These Dryads are almost dealt with. But here my Rat Ogres are suffering quite a lot. But again, he's running low on ammo. Here he's trying to posture his Wild Riders around, so I'm going to get my Stormvermin with Halberds onto them pretty soon. Come on, guys. Come on. Anytime now. You going? You're going to go in there? There we go. So I'll get on top of them. And amazingly, these Warp Lightning Cannons, the cannons are actually a great buffer for cavalry. So these cavalry are going to get really stuck in there, which I think is really amusing. So I've got units coming back in a few places. These guys are all routing, but they're running low on ammo, so that's pretty good. So over here, these Wild Riders, they're suffering in melee against the Night Runners. You know, with the extra guys firing and the poison attacks, it's pretty good. But he's throwing more units at me. So here, I don't want the Dryads getting in too, so I'm throwing all of my units in here to try and slow them down. Excuse me. And stuff is starting to break. So here I'm going to summon some more rats to help buffer these guys. I want the Gutter Runners to survive. They're too useful to me. So over here, I managed to chase off the Wild Riders. I'm kind of splitting up a bit here, which I probably shouldn't be doing, honestly. I'm sending some units over here to deal with this stuff. I'm sending some units over here. Yeah, so I want to collapse these guys. I'm going to get my Gutter Runners to move back a bit, so they're going to start firing to the backs of the Eternal Guard, which is good. They're not going to get the benefit of their shields. So as you can see, most of their units are very, very injured, and surprisingly, a lot of mine are pretty healthy. Some of them are summoned, some of them aren't. It's not looking too bad. So still got my Stormvermin with Halberds holding the fort down here. So my Warp Lightning Cannons can be able to start shooting again. So I'm not sure where I start shooting. I think I go for his Glade Lord. So I'm starting to send units back in. Here, this is actually looking a bit rough for me. I split up my units and he's actually managed to collapse on these guys. A huge amount, and with the extra ranged fire, morale is not holding. So that was a bit of a bad call for me to send these guys off on their own. So especially because a Warlock Engineer is very useful as a support unit. That Mortis Engine effect is massive if, you know, we have one big last engagement. But I really wanted Skrulk in that engagement too. So that was great for him. He just got all of his units and he just collapsed on that blob that he managed to drag out. So here, Spellsinger, that's what I was targeting. And so some great hits from the cannons there, and now she's stuck in the halberds. That's great. These Wild Riders are getting hurt as well, so that's really good news. So over here, you know, I'm losing some Clan Rats, but that doesn't really matter. I'm happy for them to get shot at. And I still have plenty of ammo on my Gutter Runners, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to be sending them in. Over here, it looks like, was that an Earthblood? Just managed to get it off before they got taken out. Amazingly, my Warp Lightning Cannon's still trying to fire. I think with all the cavalry coming in now, though, it's a bit too late. Amazingly, he did manage to actually drag my Stormvermin with halberds off this side slightly, so I wasn't on my cannon anymore. So now he's able to bog me down with things. He doesn't really mind being in a fight with Stormvermin, so that's pretty great. So I've got some Plague Monks coming back, that's great news. So I'm trying to get in here, I'm moving these guys to one side. As you can see, he is trying to focus down my my Night Runners here. He should have gone for the Gutter Runners with poison, they have more ammunition and are way more valuable. So yeah, not the best call, but he had to pin down something. But I just have too many, you know, I just have a lot of units that are quite cheap, so Prey of Anathema just loses its value at that point. So I'm summoning in more rats just to get more density here. And it looks like I will be catching these Deepwood Scouts. I'm sending these guys in, the Rat Ogres I'm trying to send in here to help. So amazingly though, these Stormvermin with halberds are holding off against all this. It's pretty impressive. So over here you can see I am still chasing. I should be able to catch them, I think, with, let's see, 40 speed against... yeah, 38, so I should be catching them. So I sent one unit over here, just the cheap Clan Rat Spears, to get in the way of the Dryads while the rest keep chasing. But I am under a lot of fire here, so Skrulk really needs to get in and do some work. I did use Lee Bubonicus and the Glade Lord, which is why he's so injured at the moment. Luckily, all this stuff breaks, and I'm able to send the Rat Ogres after the Spellsinger to help finish her off. I've still got loads of skirmishers about to come in, and Skrulk is coming in. So he will be proccing, yep, stand your ground, so these guys should be a little bit more resilient. But these Eternal Guard are going to be a bit of a worry for me. So here the Rat Ogres managed to deal with the Spellsinger, that's great news. I've got more units coming back. And as you can see, I used the Rod of Corruption just to help kill these Eternal Guard nice and quickly. And here he's still using his ammo. He has no ammo left on this unit. Does a bit on this, but this is too much. you know, this is too dense for him to deal with at the moment. And still got some rat ogres. They're going to get charged on the wild riders. Amazingly, these Eternal Guard are still fighting. They managed to scare away more clan rats. So here I've just got clan rat spears, but Skrulk is in this fight, so I'll win eventually. And here, I want to get some clan rats behind these guys. So now, being attacked in the rear, these guys are going to break, and that is enough to trigger army losses. So there we go. That was a tense one. It was definitely a fun one though. He was doing a really good job of just attacking in all kinds of places, using one unit to charge in as bait, you know, and then run them away the other way. So I'd end up chasing, you know, out the sort of in the wrong direction basically. So he's very good at screening my troops and pulling my, you know, units apart. So he got some really good ambushes where he just collapsed, you know, on top of a lot of units. It was rough. It was rough, but it worked out alright at the end. Luckily, just these gutter runners, I think, were absolute MVPs. They did a great job. You know, they were able just to do so much work to the cavalry, amazingly. But also, this unit with the most kills, he managed to catch out one of the Deepwood scouts nice and early, so that really limited their ability to fire at me, which was really good. And yeah, my front line, surprisingly, like, a lot of them held. A lot of them kept running away and coming back, but they came back, you know. So it was pretty good. As you can see though, the Dryads did a great job in the front line. They're really good against cheap Skaven infantry. They will do a lot of work. So I really love that as a front line. But of course, if I'd gone with the Storm Vermin sort of front line, maybe I wouldn't have had quite as much money for some of the other little, you know, sort of bells and whistles. But they probably would have held out a lot better against this stuff. But they would have been slower. So, you know, I wouldn't be able to harry these guys quite so much. So, you know, he would have just been able to pick off sort of all the gutter runners and stuff at his leisure, you know, with the Wild Riders, I think. So, yeah, but it went pretty well. I was definitely enjoying this one. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys.